Hey, it's Rachel, and I want to talk to you about something that you might be doing that could be negatively impacting your child's self-esteem and your relationship with your child. And I see this all the time, so I really wanted to bring it up and then tell you what to do differently, of course. So the thing that I keep seeing over and over is that we as adults, when our children do something we don't like or they misbehave in some way, we say to them, that misbehavior was a choice that you made. You made that choice to speak to me that way or to be mean to your sister. We call it a choice. And I would like to argue that those behaviors are not choices. For example, if you have a son who keeps bothering other kids in the class and the teacher keeps getting frustrated with him, you're likely to say, you're choosing to bother other kids in the class, so now we have to do something about that. I would argue that that is not a choice he is making. He's actually meeting a need. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later, but what I want to ask you before I get there is, when you do things that you regret as a parent, things like yelling at your kids or making them feel really bad about something that they did, are you in that moment when you're really upset with your kids, are you thinking, I really want to hurt their feelings, I really want to yell at them because I know that's the strategy that's going to work? You're not thinking about that. You're probably not thinking very much at all. It just sort of comes out. And that's often what happens. Because when we have big emotions because we're angry at our kids, or when our kids are really frustrated or feeling some sort of need needs to be met, when we are in that state, our fight or flight response actually kicks in. And our fight or flight response actually shuts down the part of the brain that allows us to make conscious choices, that allows us to think about the consequences of our action and plan what's going to happen if we do a certain behavior. That part of the brain, the responsible, good decision part of the brain, is actually shut down. So when we tell a child that they're making a choice, it does a few things. Because they realize it wasn't necessarily a choice that they made, it makes them feel bad about themselves because they didn't make that choice. And they think, what's wrong with me that I did that? It also can impact your relationship because they get mad at you because they know they didn't make that choice. So it can really impact how they feel about you. The other thing it does is it makes you more angry, because if you think that was a conscious choice that they were making, of course you're going to get angry with them. So it's really important to shift your mindset and not think of these as choices. Now, is that an excuse for misbehavior? Absolutely not. There's no excuse for misbehavior. But what I would urge you to do is stop thinking about these behaviors as a choice and start realizing there is a reason for every single behavior that you are seeing. For example, if we go back to that boy who is bothering others in class, the reason he's probably doing that is because he's understimulated in some way. And it's not because the teacher is boring. It's just that certain kids need to, in order to focus, they need to move their bodies or they need to engage their brains in different ways. So they get, this urge to create stimulation. That's not a conscious choice they're making. So this child would need to know how to deal with that urge in a way that doesn't bother the others in this class. He may need to get up and walk around, or he may need to hold something like a sensory strip, which is just something that he holds that could provide some of that input that would tell his brain that he's getting enough stimulation. So when you look at behavior as something that is meeting a need and that we are not necessarily making a conscious choice about it, then we can find that reason and give kids tools to behave differently, because of course their behavior needs to change. So if you are on my email list, you can look at, there's a resource attached to this email where you got this video that will give you some common reasons for frustrating behaviors. If you're not on my email list, you can look below this video on YouTube and there'll be a link for you to join my email list, and I can send you that resource as well. So if you have any questions about this or any thoughts about this, feel free to reach out to me at rachel@rachel-bailey.com. I'll see you next time.